Welcome to today's episode. We're diving into the world of tall plant stands, exploring why they're so popular and how they can upgrade your living space.
Absolutely. Tall plant stands seem to be everywhere now. Have you noticed how they instantly elevate a room, literally and figuratively?
Totally. It's like they give houseplants a stage to shine on. But do you think it's all about style, or is there a practical side too?
I think it's both. On one hand, you get that vertical appeal, making your plants look more prominent. On the other, they save space, especially in smaller apartments.
That's a great point. Plus, by raising plants off the ground, you can create more interesting layers in your decor. It's almost like building a mini indoor jungle.
Yeah, and tall plant stands can actually help with plant health. Some plants really benefit from better air circulation, and stands can provide that.
Right, especially for trailing plants like pothos or string of pearls, letting those vines drape down just looks so much better from a height.
Exactly. But with so many options out there, it can be hard to pick the right stand. What do you think people should consider first?
I'd say stability is key. The last thing you want is your monstera toppling over because the stand wasn't sturdy enough.
Agreed. I've seen some stands that look beautiful but wobble at the slightest touch. That's a disaster waiting to happen, especially if you have pets.
Or kids. So material is pretty important too. Metal stands tend to be more durable, but wooden ones bring warmth to a room.
I love the look of wooden stands, especially those with a mid-century vibe. They feel classic but still modern.
Me too. But sometimes metal works better for a more minimalist or industrial look. It really depends on your space and taste.
True. And then there's the question of height. How tall is too tall?
That's tricky. I think it depends on the plant and where you're placing it. A tall stand by a window can help your plant get more sunlight.
Good point. But put one in a high-traffic area and you might end up knocking it over. Not ideal.
Definitely not. Speaking of sunlight, have you ever used a tall stand to help a plant reach the light it needs?
Absolutely. I had a fiddle leaf fig that just wasn't getting enough light, so I popped it on a tall stand near the window. It perked right up.
That's a great example. Sometimes the simplest solution is just to elevate things, literally. But what about design? Do you go for something that blends in or stands out?
That's a tough choice. Sometimes I want the stand to be almost invisible, just to highlight the plant. Other times, a bold stand can be a statement piece.
Yeah, I've seen some stands with really creative shapes and colors. They almost become art themselves.
Exactly. And multi-tiered stands are a game changer if you have a plant collection. You can showcase several plants in one compact space.
That's true. It's like a plant parade. But do you ever worry about overloading a multi-tier stand?
For sure. I always check the weight limit. Some stands look sturdy but can't handle heavier pots.
Safety first. And what about maintenance? Have you found that some stands are easier to clean than others?
Definitely. Metal stands tend to be easier to wipe down, especially if you're watering plants and there's runoff.
Wood can stain if water spills, so I always use a saucer under the pot. Learned that lesson the hard way.
Been there. Also, have you noticed some stands come with adjustable heights? That flexibility is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's perfect for people who like to switch things up. I get bored with my setup every few months.
Same here. Sometimes just raising or lowering a plant gives the whole room a new vibe.
And let's not forget about outdoor use. Tall stands can be great on balconies or patios too.
Absolutely. They keep plants off the ground, away from pests, and add dimension to outdoor spaces.
Speaking of pests, elevating plants can help with airflow and reduce some common issues, right?
Yes, especially with things like fungus gnats or mold. Better airflow means fewer problems.
That's a win. Now, what about price? Do you think tall stands are worth the investment?
I think so, if you pick quality over quantity. A good stand can last for years and really transform a space.
I agree, but there are some affordable options out there that still look great. It's all about finding the right balance.
For sure. And DIY is always an option if you're feeling crafty. Have you ever made your own plant stand?
I tried once. Let's just say it wasn't exactly Pinterest-worthy, but it was functional.
Hey, function over form sometimes. But I do admire those who can build their own. Customizing the size and color is a big plus.
Definitely. And speaking of color, do you prefer natural wood, painted finishes, or metal?
I usually go for natural wood. It warms up the space. But I've seen some cool matte black stands that look super chic.
Yeah, matte black is so versatile, it matches almost any decor, but sometimes I want a pop of color, like a bright yellow or teal stand.
That's bold, but it can really brighten up a room, especially if your plants are mostly green.
Exactly, it's like adding jewelry to an outfit. The right accessory makes everything pop.
That's a great analogy. And speaking of accessories, do you pair your stands with plant baskets? Or just use the pots?
I mix it up. Sometimes baskets add texture, but if the pot is pretty enough, I let it shine.
Variety is the spice of plant life. Do you have a favorite plant that looks best on a tall stand?
Probably my snake plant. It's tall and sculptural, so putting it on a stand just makes it even more dramatic.
I love that. For me, it's trailing plants. Watching the vines cascade down is so satisfying.
Agreed. It's like nature's own curtain. So, to wrap up, what would you say to someone considering a tall plant stand for the first time?
I'd say start simple. Think about your space, your style, and what your plants need. You don't have to spend a fortune to find something that works.
Great advice. And remember, it's not just about aesthetics. Your plants can actually thrive with a little elevation.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment. Sometimes moving a plant up just a few inches makes all the difference.
So true. It's amazing how a small change can refresh your whole space and your mood.
Plants have a way of brightening things up, don't they? Especially when they're displayed with a bit of flair.
Absolutely. So whether you're a seasoned plant parent or just starting out, a tall plant stand might be the upgrade you didn't know you needed.
Or the excuse to buy another plant. You know how it goes. One stand, suddenly 3 more plants.
The cycle never ends. But hey, at least our homes are greener for it.
That's the spirit. And for anyone listening, maybe take a look around and see where a tall plant stand could make a difference.
Or if you're feeling crafty, try building one yourself. Who knows, you might surprise yourself.
Or just treat yourself to a new addition. Your plants and your home will thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to our chat about tall plant stands. We hope you found some inspiration and tips to elevate your green space.
Until next time, keep growing, keep experimenting, and keep your plants on a pedestal. Literally.
See you in the next episode where we'll dig into more plant care tips and decor ideas.
Take care and happy planting.